welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Ricky, and I'm glad to be back with you. I took some time off over the holidays to be with family and friends and enjoy gatherings, and now I'm raring to go in 2026. So to start the year off, I'm going to be making some cheese puffs that can be filled with anything that you feel like filling it with. And because it's also 3 degrees outside and we've been slammed with snow, being in the kitchen with the oven on is the perfect place to be. So to get started, we need to boil a 1/4 cup of water, and then we're going to add to that some butter that we're going to melt into it. So I'm going to move on over to the stove and get the water boiling. Well, the water is boiling, so now I'm going to add the butter to it and melt it, and then as soon as the butter has melted, I'm going to throw in the flour and stir vigorously. As you can see, our flour has been blended in with our butter and it is pulled away from the pan. Now we are going to continue to stir this a little bit and let it cool off before we add our egg. Now I used a 1/4 cup of gluten-free flour and a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. I've already preheated the oven to 400 degrees, and these will go in for about 20 minutes baking time. The reason we want to let this cool off a little bit is we don't want our eggs to curdle as soon as we add it in, because I don't want scrambled eggs mixed in with our flour. Now as these bake in the oven, they're going to puff up and turn somewhat hollow inside, so when we cut them in half, we have a little indentation to add our filling to. All right, that's good. Now we're going to throw in our egg. And I am using a pasture-raised egg. Trying not to get the broken shell in. Okay, now we're going to stir this in until it is well blended. Okay, we now have a nice smooth mixture. Now we're going to add in our cheese. And I'm using a 1/4 cup of shredded smoked Gouda. You can use almost any cheese that you want. I am using this particular cheese because I am using up all the little bits of things left in my refrigerator. I have decided for the month of January I am doing a eat from my freezer, refrigerator, and pantry instead of going grocery shopping when I have plenty of stuff in the house already. Which is a good thing I do because we've had so much snow lately and it has been so cold that I have not wanted to go outside to do grocery shopping. So I've been getting very creative in my kitchen, making meals up out of things that I already have on hand. And saving money, which is always a good thing. Okay, our cheese is mixed in. And now we're going to drop these by spoonfuls onto a parchment paper lined cookie sheet. About this size is what I like, because it's big enough that once you cut it in half you can put a decent amount of filling in it, but they're not so big that you have to bite into it and then your filling drops out. So what I want is basically a 1-bite serving. And you could easily double this recipe if you wanted to make more. It looks like I got 8. So depending on how big or small you make these, you might get 8 to 10. All right, so now these are going to go into the oven for about 20 minutes. I'm going to watch them a little bit because they want to be just golden brown. So in the oven they go. Look at there. Perfectly done. Golden brown, puffed up the way they were supposed to. And it's hot, so I'm going to let them cool off a little bit. I'm going to transfer them onto our cooling rack. They smell delicious. Now you could use shredded Swiss, you could use shredded cheddar, mozzarella, pretty much any hard cheese that will hold its shape. Parmesan would be another good one to use. Like I said, I use what I had in the refrigerator because I'm trying to use stuff up. Now earlier, I made some fillings using things that I had in the refrigerator. So I have, in this bowl, I had like 2 tablespoons of goat cheese left, a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of hummus, some cut up green olives, some capers, a little rosemary, a little garlic, a little salt, a tiny smidge of red pepper paste, and some finely chopped pieces of dried tomatoes. And it tastes very good because I've already tried some. So this will be our savory stuffing. And then I also have here in this bowl 3 dark chocolate Dove chocolates melted with some peanut butter powder and a little bit of water. And this is going to go inside for our dessert one. And I will probably have one of these later on with an espresso. Well, they've cooled off and I'm ready to slice these and fill them. Open it up, you can see when it's nice and soft and spongy. So I'm going to start with the savory one. Just a little dab in it. Push our cover down. There you go. Doesn't that look yummy? And we filled all the ones that we want with the savory filling. Now we're going to do the chocolate ones. Looks delicious. Well, as you can see, our gougères are filled. The dessert one has some sliced mango along the side. I had some of this in my freezer, and chocolate and fruit is a perfect pairing. I had some extra chocolate filling left over, so I thinned it out a little bit with some water and then put it on the top for a little chocolate frosting because you can never have too much chocolate. And then we have our savory ones right here, and I've decorated the top with a little slice of pimento stuffed olives. My espresso is done, so I am going to enjoy a dessert puff, go sit by the fire and warm up. So thanks again for joining me. Have a great week. Bye-bye.